Alright, what is up, YouTube? We are riding the FZ09 2014. My buddy John was kind enough to lend me the bike so we could do a ride and review. I know I've been getting a lot of comments. People have been asking me about it. People are looking into buying it, so I'm going to do a ride and review for you. So, a little bit about this bike. It's the first time since 1976 that Yamaha has used a 3-cylinder engine in their bike. And I'll tell you what, they did a really good job on the motor and the basically overall round fit of this bike. It's a perfect engine for this bike. So it's got not a lot of horsepower, so it's really a torque monster. This thing is meant for turns and short straightaways, but don't let it fool you. It can definitely overtake some of the other naked bikes in its class. It's 117 horsepower and 70 torque. So it comes with 3 modes. It comes with A mode, B mode, and standard mode. Currently we're in standard mode right now. So I'm gonna go through all the modes and let you know what I feel about it. Standard mode it's a good mode. It's a good all-around mode. It's got enough pep in the step to carry you through wherever you're going, but it's also a good cruising mode. You know, I mean, if you want to pass cars, you can pass cars on this. I mean, it'll definitely sit its ass down and carry you. So if you're a person who's been riding 600s and you're like, hey man, I just don't like the way that the bike is, you know, it's not comfortable for me anymore, my back hurts or whatever the case is, and you want to go to a, you know, you're like, oh, I want to go to a cruiser type bike or a touring type bike. Well, I'm saying if you like street bikes, super sport bikes, you will definitely love this bike. This bike has an amazing feel to it. It's very comfortable to ride, and I think it pulls like a freight train. So it's definitely a bike I would buy if you've been riding for a while. Like, this isn't your first bike. If you came off a 300, yeah, I'd say you could probably handle it if you've been riding for a while on that 300. If you've been riding 600s or other naked bikes, and you know, this bike is so light. I mean, it is comfortable. I mean, it's like riding a dirt bike. That's literally what this is like. It's like riding a dirt bike with 3 cylinders. It's just as light. I mean, I've ridden a lot of dirt bikes and a lot of street bikes, and I've ridden Harleys. This is by far the most comfortable bike I have sat on and rode on the street, hands down. It's bar none the best in its class. And the great part about this bike is it comes with, you know, like I said, it comes with a different map mode setting, and it comes with a lot of torque, and there's a lot of options you can do to this bike to make it even better. Like this windshield, for instance. That is the #1 thing you're going to want to ride with, because if you don't ride with that windshield and you just ride with the stock one, you're going to feel it in your chest. Like I mean, unless you like being a sail on a boat, I mean, sure, go for it, by all means. But this bike, it needs a windscreen right off the bat as soon as you get this. This bike, obviously, as you can hear, it is not stock. So a little bit about this bike. This bike itself, it has an aftermarket seat on it because the stock seat has these 90-degree corners in it on the front side of your legs, and it feels like it's cutting into your legs. So the aftermarket seat is definitely another must-buy for this. I don't know what the name of this seat is, but it's one that you definitely should buy if you're gonna buy an FZ09. It has an M4 exhaust on it. It looks like a Street Slayer. It's a small little shorty pipe by M4. It's got aftermarket gold levers. Pretty sweet, pretty snazzy. Click. They're not roll and click, but they're adjustable shorty levers, which I like. I have them on my bike, and they feel really good on this bike. The other thing we did to it the other day is we did a snorkel mod. So those of you who are not FZ riders and don't know what that is, or if you are, the snorkel mod is there's this long tube that goes down in from the top of your air box. It goes down into where the air cleaner sits. So what you do is, to get more airflow, you cut that tunnel off, that long tube. You cut it off with a Sawzall. It's easy, very easy. It's like 2-minute job. And you feel a bit of a difference, especially with the DynoJet Power Commander 5 that this bike has. It definitely, it makes the bike, it's just more fun to ride when you have the DynoJet Power Commander to it and the air modifications with the muffler. It's just a fun bike to ride. I mean, if you buy this bike, you'll never get sick of riding it. I'm telling you, I never get sick of riding this thing. This is my 3rd time riding this bike, and I enjoy riding the shit out of it every time. It's so much fun to ride, and it's comfortable. I can go for hours. You can go for long trips on this bike. I mean, it has roughly a 3-gallon tank on it, and it lasts a while. I mean, obviously we live on an island, so I can't really tell you how far, but 3 gallons, 3 cylinders, you're roughly going to be in the 40 miles per gallon range, or 50. But with the DynoJet, shit, who knows? You could even get any better than that. And I mean, if I was going to ride far places, I would definitely pick this bike. If you like to ride far places, this bike is the bike to have. If you like naked bikes and you like the way they corner, this bike corners amazing. Okay, so this is the con to this bike. This is like one of the only cons that I know of that this bike has. The suspension. It's the downfall of this bike. It's not very, you can't adjust very far into the bike. There's a lot of forum on it about how you can't adjust the front forks. The rear one, you can only go so far. It's still soft even at its hardest setting. So what are we doing here? All right, and that's the only downfall. I mean, this is the bike at its like hardest setting. So we're gonna go into A mode. So as I was saying before, this bike, I mean, for all you get from this bike stock, I mean, off the showroom floor, it retails at $8,600. That's MSRP. I mean, that's a pretty good deal for a almost liter bike. It's 847 cc's, 117 horsepower. It is a lot cheaper than buying an Italian bike or buying a liter bike off the showroom floor. I mean, like I said, if you're at that stage where you want to own a naked bike because you think they're comfortable and you like them, this is the bike to have, hands down. Yamaha did it right with this bike. So, I mean, this bike pulls really hard. I mean, as you saw, it pulled the front wheel right off the ground. That's in A mode. I mean, it almost pulled my arms off the bars. I mean, it'll surprise you. And that's A mode, so. Alright, now we're gonna go to B mode. So B mode is what I was told. It's 60% power. It doesn't give you all the power. It makes the bike more rideable. So B mode is something, if you're just getting used to the bike, you can try that. As you get used to it, you can go up. Standard mode is an in-between mode of both A and B, but it still has a lot of power on the bottom end. Like, this is just a bottom end bike. It has a lot of torque coming from the bottom to the top. So that's another fun fact about the bike. But like I said before, this bike, it corners like a dream. Alright, now we're going to go back to standard mode. So this is what my buddy John rides in. He rides in standard mode because A mode is just ridiculous unless you're going for a ride. So this bike all around it's just an awesome bike to ride. I enjoy riding this bike, and I know you will enjoy riding this bike. So be sure to check out Yamaha for the Z1000. It's a great bike, awesome bike. I would own it. Like I said before, I've said it 1,000 times by now, I would own this bike. This is definitely a bike to own. I mean, I'm telling you, you're not going to get more bang for your buck than this bike. I mean, you got to think about the overall of the bike, what you can afford. If you don't know a lot about motorcycles, or you don't want to have a big maintenance bill, this bike is the bike to have. Alright, YouTube. That's it for today. This is the Z1000. Go out and buy it. Buy it. Get it. Get it. Alright. I'll talk to y'all later.